Hey there, thanks for clicking on the thumbnail. On the left of your screen you're going to see a bucket that's got ghost shrimp in it. On the right of your screen you see this name brand horribly designed tank. Let me get it in front of the camera a little more there. You might be able to see this divider that's in there. It's one of these crazy beta tanks. You'll get a better look at it. But what we're going to do is we're going to mod this tank to make it rival some of the best rimless tanks out there for a fraction of the cost. And then we're going to put those shrimp in this tank. So we're going to give it a shot and we'll show you how we're going to do it. Follow along. Okay, we're going to be working on the floor here because I don't have a fancy fish studio yet. We'll go ahead and crack this open here. Guess what this is going to be used for? Drop a comment if you know what this foam is going to be used for. Okay, pardon my little selfie light reflection there. What we got going on is a cheap plastic lid that looks like it's supposed to be wood, and yeah, they're not great. We don't need that where we're going. Instructions, like anybody needs that. A box of goodies here. We have a hideous 1970s putrid tan colored filter box, which we're not using, obviously. However, it is kind of nice to get a spare little water pump. You never know when you need a little water pump. And we may use it to cycle this tank. Maybe. Haven't decided yet. Alright, this stuff, don't need that. So what we're left here with is pretty much a rimless tank, except it's got this crazy divider in it because you're supposed to have your bed of fish over here, and then the water that you're pumping in over here overflows down this little waterfall to another half a fish tank. I don't know, it's stupid. But it's only held in right here with silicone, and it touches the silicone down here at the bottom. Well, you can barely see my finger. It touches the silicone down here at the bottom that is sealing the glass panel to the bottom panel, or the front panel to the bottom panel. And then it goes across the bottom, and same thing back here on the other side. So it should be super simple to take this out. Now some people have modded like the side filter unit box ones, but the ones that I looked at were the same seam in this corner for not only the tank, but that little filter box that they have there. And I didn't want to razor blade that out. Now you could use fishing line to cut this. I'm just going to probably use a razor blade because once I get it loose, I'm just going to peel it back and forth. You'll see in a second. And then I'll show you what the issue is, the dumb thing they did on the bottom of this tank. Alright, we got our razor blade here. And I think what I'm going to do is start at the bottom. And I can look right here and just kind of trim it right at the edge. Simple enough. I'm being careful not to cut into the silicone that is sealing the bottom of the tank. Okay, dumb filter divider is out. Now we just remove silicone. I'm just trimming right along kind of the edge here, but being careful not to disrupt the silicone that is sealing the glass again. It's not super important that you're 100% clean down at the bottom anyway, because all your substrate's going to be down there. You'll never see it. Okay, I know this is hard to see because glass leaves a reflection with my light here, but you see this silicone residue on the front glass right there. The silicone residue. Easy way to get this off. That same razor blade you were using. A towel. Make sure you have a towel. And some rubbing alcohol, which I happen to have in a spray bottle here. You don't have to have a spray bottle. You can wipe this on with a paper towel. But what you're going to do going to get a little of that pure rubbing alcohol. I'm using 91%. Make sure that you have this towel to catch your excess drips. You do not want this alcohol to touch your silicone that you don't want to remove. Come back in with your razor blade and it will be dissolving that silicone and allowing you to scrape away, or you could use a little scrubber if you wanted to. I'm always afraid of scratching the glass with a scrubber. But you can just kind of go along here and remove the remainder of that silicone residue. Come back in with your towel and you'll see now I don't have any silicone residue here. So if you're nervous, just put some alcohol on a nice soft cotton towel or something that's not going to scratch the glass, and you can just work this back and forth here manually and get it off. Be very careful down here at the bottom, which is why I will wet my towel and kind of rub this off manually right at the bottom, just because you don't want to touch your silicone and risk weakening it. So I'm going to finish this up off camera and I'll be back for our final step. Okay guys, I'm trying to get you an angle here where my light is not glaringly reflecting on the glass. Can you see where the divider was? I even decided to do the bottom just because, you know, it's a YouTube video and I should really do it the right way to show you guys how to do it the right way. Now we have one little thing that we got to take care of, and it's probably the hardest on this tank. So if we flip to the bottom of the tank here, we've got these feet. Now I thought when I looked at it that these were just going to be little clear rubber feet or something like that. They're not. They're actually glass that has been like super industrial glued onto the bottom. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get them off. But here's why I want to get them off. If you guys know anything about aquascaping, having this thing propped up on all four corners here, if I want to put a big rock or something right on the glass without any substrate to kind of pad it or something like that, any pinpoint pressure in the middle can shatter this glass. This is not Opti-White or any kind of crazy strong glass. It's just regular old glass. So I don't know why they would raise the tank off of, it's a rimless tank already, why they would raise the tank up with these feet. It makes no sense to me. But these are really hard to get off. Now I did manage to already get this one off. I left it hanging on by a little thread. And I'm going to show you how I did that, but it was not easy, that's for sure. Okay, now that I have it off, I can feel it's acrylic. These are acrylic feet. They're not glass feet. They look and feel like glass, but they're acrylic. Okay, so that makes me feel a little bit better. I was afraid to grab them and like twist on them or anything because I thought they were glass and it might break. Now, this is not the right way to do it. I just didn't feel like going out in the shed and getting my tools, but I've got my razor blade and I have a little tap tool, something to tap with, and just kind of whack it. Being careful, of course, not to hit the glass. And then just after a few taps, it will pop itself off of there. So just be careful. And just like that, guys, we've turned this into this. A completely rimless, standard, modern, other than being Opti-White glass, a standard rimless tank. Now many of you may be saying, but Steve, that divider in there provided lateral support along this pane of glass because it's not thick enough and the water pressure is going to bow the glass out and break the tank. Well, yes, if that was a large tank and we were removing the rim, that would probably be a concern. But let me show you something. Here's a modern rimless tank. The glass on this modern rimless tank, and I know you can't see so good with the shadows, I'm doing this at night, is 3/10 of a centimeter. So our big box pet store TopFin brand glass is 4/10 for sure of a centimeter. You could argue 1/2 centimeter. Point is, this glass is thicker, so I'm not really worried about it. Now, they do say that there's a cheaper silicone used and whatever, but this is essentially built as a rimless tank anyway. This lid does no structural support, and it's designed to come off, so I think we're going to be okay. And it's only 5 gallons, so there's not that much water pressure. So we're going to stick it in this hole right here just to show you what it's going to look like. Now, did you guess what this piece of foam is going to be used for? It was in the packing, and it's exactly the same size as the tank, pretty much. And so check this out. Aquarium pad. Now, it could be trimmed to fit a little better on the edges, and I'm going to do that. But free aquarium pad. If you're putting it on a nice smooth surface. I mean, it's not the best aquarium pad, but it's free. Okay, I've trimmed up my aquarium pad here, and it's a decent, if I squish down on it, I can put some pressure on it, and it doesn't collapse too bad. So it's really not a bad little foam mat. If you're unfamiliar with these types of tanks, the reason that you want to use a pad is just in case there's like a little pebble or a little ball of sand or just anything that's going to put pinpoint pressure on the bottom of your tank. That's what's going to crack it. So you just put a pad down and it'll absorb any imperfections in your wood and stuff and make the tank just sit level. Why you don't need that on a rimmed tank, I don't know. Somebody put in the comments why, because that glass is off the bottom a little bit, and so I don't know. Look at all the shrimps. Try and get some more light in here for you. They're all in the center. That's where I crumble up their food. Eat, little guys, eat. Okay, so what are we going to do for light so that we don't have this glaring reflection for the rest of your video? These little LEDs came with it. This tank came with a cheap little hood that had LEDs. And this tank that you can barely see because the fish are sleeping also came with a hood. And here are all of those hoods. So this one's got 2 LEDs that came with our new tank. This one, the small hood that came with this, only has 1 little LED. And this one has 3 LEDs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these out because these come out of the covers here. Like so. So I'm going to mount one, some, or all of them up under this shelf here so that we have some light in here, because it's obvious with this real tight setup we can't put a hood light on it even if we wanted to. Now we could have fit the actual lid in there, but that just looks like garbage. So let there be light. So I ended up just going with 4 of the lights. This one I didn't like so much that came with this kit because it had some sort of weird like little rheostat or heat emergency shut off or something. I don't know. I touched it and it shocked me, so I didn't like it. So I used the other ones that I had, but not bad. I don't know how we're going to do on plant growth. It looks like it's 6,500 Kelvin, you know, pure white light, but I don't know. Looks okay though from a distance, and especially if you get up at a normal viewing angle, can't even see them. I'm going to black out the background in this tank so that we can't see anything behind it. Black background is installed. It's looking good. Alright guys, sorry for the quick cut to the outro here. This was originally going to be a longer video with putting the shrimp in temporarily and then aquascaping it later, and through the editing process here it just got way too long. So we're going to end this video here as a separate segment on kind of how to modify one of these regular store-bought aquariums. You know, not everybody has an opportunity to get to one of these specialty fish shops that has these like really fancy, you know, rimless aquariums. So if all you have is a big box store and you want a rimless aquarium, just start looking at the pictures and opening boxes, and then you know, looking at the aquarium and kind of see. A lot of these companies are kind of moving to like a semi-rimless setup right now. So just like this one here, you should be able to find a good deal on a modern-ish style rimless tank. You just got to do a little bit of work for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe it helped you out, gave you some options on tank setups. I'm pretty satisfied with it. You may be able to see a sneak peek back here
It's been aquascaped and set up for a while, and that's going to be coming up in a future video here pretty soon. So stay tuned to the channel for that one. And before we sign off, I want to thank you guys for the 79 subs. This channel's only been up for 3 weeks. You guys are killing it with the subscriptions. I appreciate your support. And some of you guys are even clicking the affiliate links on Amazon, so we're making a couple of pennies over there too. I appreciate all your support up until this point, and I hope I can crank out some cool content for you continuing on this year. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.